Like, even though I was born and raised in the church, I used to say, I can recall a time where I finally got to know Jesus for myself. Now, as I've gotten older, I don't think that way because I've always known Jesus for myself. The whole faith journey is just about growing deeper in faith as time progresses.
It's by no mistake. You tuned in to elevate. Whether you could have thought you came. You look yourself right in the face. And if you fear it, then face it and faith it. Said if you fear it, then face it and faith it. Said if you fear it, then face it and faith it. Said if you fear it, then face it and faith it.
At the core of who I am, Shaconna is a girl's girl and a God's girl. God has walked me through so many beautiful, beautiful tests and trials. And I say beautiful because they were tragically beautiful. But the lessons that I've learned, it's okay that when you walk into a room, you may not look like everyone. You may not sound like everyone. You may not dress like everyone. And that is okay because you were made to be set apart. And the moment you start to embrace that, you will be able to live freely and at peace. What I love about God is that even though he shows us the lessons, so graciously, we still need to see him like 3 or 4 times, right? So I kept getting this same test over and over again, just about standing up for what I know is right. If it's not me, then I can't do it. If it's not authentically what God placed me here to do, I can't do it. And it's never going to look right on me. It's never going to feel right on me. I have a picture of me, oh God, going to the club with my sister. And I'm like, I'm trying to dress the part. And I literally took my school clothes. I had on like a plaid. I think I have this shirt. I have a plaid shirt. And I tied up the shirt to try and look more grown. And I just had these church heels on and just trying to fit in. I did not fit in. And I think that has been the story of my life. And I struggled with that for a long time. Why don't I fit in? Why? I would think why people don't, why don't they like me? Why don't they want to be friends with me? I'm extra. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. So at 33 years old, I am finally saying, and that's okay. And for as long as I can remember, 2 things that I've always loved was praising God and performing. And when I'm praising God, I'm not performing. But when I'm performing, I am praising God because that's the gift that he gave me. Everything that I've done performance-wise, whether it's giving a speech or dancing or singing or writing skits and plays it's always been in church. And so that was the framework of what I had to work with. But the art of it all, it can be applied to any dynamic. And as a kid, you can't really tell the difference. I know that I'm doing something that I love and I'm doing it for God because I love God. What does that mean? Am I performing when I'm standing up and praising God? I know I'm performing when you guys ask me to go and do a dance but am I performing when I'm praising God? And I feel had really been in deep thought about this. My worship is for real. We used to do a dance to this song called My Worship is For Real. That song really helped me to articulate what it means, the difference of it all. Because when I'm worshiping God and whatever it is I'm doing, everything that we do is to worship him, is to honor him. And even though, like I said before, if I'm dancing in my head as a kid, I'm performing, but I'm doing this for God. And I remember one of my dance coaches used to tell us, we don't perform, we minister. So when you're dancing, you are ministering. And I thought that was just when I'm dancing, in church. Now I'm realizing that every encounter, that has been my prayer lately, Lord, allow every encounter that I have be blessed by your light. Allow your light to shine through me. In every encounter, it's all ministry. Ministry is not just standing on the stage and holding a microphone and reciting scriptures and singing a worship song or dancing to a worship song. Ministry is how we live. And so when I'm performing, I am praising God because He gave me this gift to give back to Him and to draw people closer to Him in whatever aspect that is. Faith for me has been doing it afraid. And when I say afraid, I mean like I am going to procrastinate for as long as I can. I'm going to hold off as long as I can because the butterflies are overtaking me. And you know what the beautiful thing is? When we are younger, when we are kids, we don't have that. I literally, my sister, like as I've been in the last few years, she's like been reminding me of my mantra when I was a kid, which is Nike, just do it. I would be so nervous when I had to do a speech at church. And I would say to myself, okay, Nike, just do it. And I would go up and literally just do it, right? I'm like, how did I lose that growing up? You know, the world just has its filters. Going deeper in faith requires us to remember. Faith is remembering and doing it afraid, because when you remember that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose, and what that part right there means, who are called according to His purpose, for me, how I like break that down and make it more like livable. As long as my heart is in the right place, as long as I'm making this decision, talking to God, like, God, I think that this is the right thing to do. This is what I feel like you're leading me to do. Even if I may have made the wrong decision, my heart being in the right place, me submitting this to God and like truly, intentionally trying to do the right thing, God is going to work it out. That's what faith is. Started acting very young. So again, it's always been my passion. And I had this one acting coach that told me, if you are going to go to college, because I've always wanted to go to college, if you're going to go to college, don't study acting. You need to study something else and, you know, let that be your fallback. So I still, in my mind, I'm going to do acting, but that would play in my mind. Once I got to high school, that it's like every stage of my life, the stage just keeps calling me, it keeps pulling me in. I had an opportunity to go to this high school that was out of my district, and I could only go there if I was in the magnet program, and their magnet program was communications. So I'm like, oh, camera, I get to be on camera, I get to learn the camera. So I did that for 2 years. And then my junior year of high school, I get that talking in the back of my head again, like, oh, you can't do this because, you know, this is a 1 in a million opportunity. You're going to need to have a fallback. So I switch and I'm thinking, okay, what else am I good at? I had already been teaching Sunday school. I love kids. I'm great at explaining things. So I transitioned my junior year into the UTAP program, which is the Urban Teachers Academy. And then I went on to college, and my major was education. And then I get into a speech class, Introduction to Speech, and I love this class. Oh my God, the stage was calling me again. And my professor at the end of the semester, she's like, what's your major? And I was like, education. She's like, you need to be doing communications. I said, I did that in high school, but I didn't think that I should do it in college. She's like, absolutely do it. So I said, okay, so we're back on communications, right? The whole time that I'm in college, though, I never spoke a word of my true dreams and aspirations to anybody that I went to college with. Only people that knew were just my family, my close friends back home. So no one ever knew that this was my dream in college, but the stage just kept calling me. So I ended up doing pageants. I was coordinating pageants, doing shows, and the stage was calling, but I still didn't speak of it. So now I'm graduating, and I'm in the office of one of my favorite professors. And there's like 3 other young ladies in there, and she's asking us, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to say it. I'm like, I can't say it. I still can't say it. So she gets to me, what are you doing after college? Everyone else said they were going to get their master's. So I said, I'm going to get my master's. She says, what are you getting your master's in? My favorite class, which she taught, was organizational communication. So I said, I'm going to get a master's in organizational communications. She said, okay. Where are you going to go? Now, I want to be a Broadway actress. So I say, New York. This woman looks at me up and down. It's my favorite professor. I wouldn't dare say her name. She's no longer my favorite. She looked me up and down and she said, New York is going to chew you up and spit you out. I said, no, it won't. This was 4 days before graduation. I graduated, and that summer I dedicated, instead of following my dream, I dedicated that summer to applying for colleges in New York and getting a master's degree in corporate communications because she told me that I couldn't. So I do that. I graduate within a year and a half. Master's degree did it. What? You gonna tell me I can't do something? And I'm like, now what? I was at a point in my life because I was not going to get a PhD. Like, this was just to prove that later. It wasn't even on my mind. Now what? You're in upstate New York. I'm not even in the city. I went to university at Albany. And I'm kind of faced with, how long are you going to prolong what I have called you to do? You have to make a choice. And so I said, okay, I'm going to pursue acting. But at this point in my life, I have no one in my life that knows this world. I have no prospects. I don't know a thing. I haven't been to acting class in years. I have nothing. And so I have to call my dad and I say, I have to come home. It felt like all the weight of all the water that I have ever swam in just caving in on me. So I moved back home. And I'm like, I'm just going to faith it. My mentor, who has become like a sister to me now, and I love her for this. She's like, you're going to need to be able to finance this dream. I don't know anything about acting. I'm a teacher. I was surrounded by teachers. I'm a teacher. I can help you get into the school district. I can help you become a teacher. And, that's a job that you can do. You'll get off early. And she just talked me into it. And I'm just like, well, yeah, because, I did the UTAP program. I studied a little bit and sure. So I started teaching. And that was probably one of the best decisions that I made in my life. Because in that moment, in that time, I really had time. I didn't have any other obligations. I was living with my parents. I had the time to try and find a community. And I found Miami Acting Studio. And I just got back into it. It felt like I was starting from the ground up, like I was 13 years old again. And it's so funny how I kept saying that I wasn't going to voice my dreams to anyone because I really didn't want that voice continuing to perpetuate in my head, but I perpetuated it myself. I didn't have to hear anyone say, oh, that'll never happen. I was saying it to myself, and I didn't realize that. So this time around, I faithed it through, and I just worked. That's all I can say. I found auditions. I went to acting classes. I went to audition courses, and I just did the things. And one day I got an opportunity to audition. It was Orlando. I had to drive 3 hours to this audition. I get to the audition, and I had no idea what it was about. I just was like, I'm just going to go. I get the list of roles, and I didn't know this, but the roles were listed in, I guess, I don't want to say order of importance, but, number one on the call sheet, right? I just read, the sides for each of them. I get down to the very last one on the list. I think her name was Laura or something. And I read that, I'm like, okay, I can remember this. Okay, I can do this. I read that. I go in and I read for the last person on the call sheet. And I get a call that they want me to be the second person on the call sheet. Faithing it is what got me to that. And I have a movie on Amazon Prime. Like, check me out, okay? I am Paula, okay? So faithing it, that shift, that transition was really just about going back to ground zero, remembering and doing it anyway, having no prospects, having nothing. I'm starting fresh with nothing and just doing something. The beautiful thing about doing it with God is that as you take one step, he will place the other one in front of you. So me just going on Google and like searching something, God placed the next step in front of me. And me going to the class, God placed the next step in front of me. And that's how my journey has continued to flourish so beautifully. My prayer life has been very instrumental in deepening my faith because I didn't always know like how to pray. I know how to pray, but I didn't know how to pray like to God the way that I do now. The way that I talk to him now is like we are like in relationship with one another. And it's not just, I had a formula, growing up in church that kind of teach you how to pray. So I would start with my thanks, like, thank you, God. This is what I need. I love you, God. And it started, I began to have more of a conversation. And conversation sounds like open-ended stuff, and I would just write prayers in my journal. I personally feel like my written communication is better than my verbal communication. I'm able to like get my thoughts out a little more clear. I have so many of these prayer journals. I used to write prayer journals. When I was a kid, my sister always had diaries, and I was never a diary person. I couldn't, Dear Diary, like it never resonated with me. But something about talking to God, it just clicked for me. So that's one thing that I did intentionally. And I tried to do it every day, but it wasn't every day. And that's okay. If you can't do it every day, that's fine. But when I did set aside that time to like just pray and talk to God and meditate, then things would start to become more clear. And honestly, therapy. I tried therapy for the first time. What therapy did for me is that it gave me other language that I was not accustomed to when it came to talking about my feelings and talking about my spirituality. So giving me the language also helped to deepen my prayer life because I knew how to talk to God about what I was feeling. Two things that really helped me to just see. And then God would just speak to me, and when in my dreams, I'll be in the shower, and like melodies would come to me, poetry, songs would come to me, and the songs that would come to me, the melodies that would come to me, I realized like this was God just telling me what was to come into fruition. God just telling me, okay, this is what's going to happen for you. I know the thoughts and plans that I have for you, saith the Lord. They are thoughts to prosper you and not to harm you. Thoughts of a purpose, a plan, and a future. And so when I just believed it, because we see it, right? We hear him talking. We're like, nah. I think we do that because I know, well, I'll speak for me. I think I've always like kind of not believed because I did not want to feel arrogant. Like, who are you to think that you're going to be this star? Dare I say, oh my God, I just said it out of my mouth. Like, who are you to think that you're going to be the one in the million? Who are you to think that? But who are we not to? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, which most frightens us. And it was the light, the possibility of it, that was just like, ooh, me? Who do you think you are? The audacity of you to think that you are somebody that will shine. And now when I'm talking to people, I'm texting, I'm sending messages, like that's one thing that I always say, keep shining. At 33 years old, I am finally walking in and living in my purpose. And what I have discovered is that my purpose is to draw people to Christ through arts, entertainment, every aspect of using my voice and my body, my natural born gifts to inspire people and to empower people. And that's what I have been doing. Now I'm busy in purpose. So I've been doing a lot of work on the ground, you know. I'm acting, I'm doing content creation, I'm learning how to direct, I am developing a podcast, I am developing a script, I am doing all the things with purpose. It's easier said than done. I can say, just accept it. You can't run from it. It's going to find you. These are all the things that I have heard. You know, the truth of the matter is, sometimes you are going to shy away from your calling. But when it calls you again, just answer. And it will never look like what you envision. Our vision is like when we first wake up in the morning and I know God is calling me to a place, but I can't see it clearly. People who don't have sight are hesitant with their steps because they don't want to fall. So that hesitation that you have is normal, but just wash your eyes again. How do we wash our eyes? Get connected, talk to God, sing, dance, do whatever it is that you have to be able to release the energy of fear, because fear has an energy. You have to release the energy of fear in order to really receive the courage to jump. So at the end of the day, it's okay to fear it, but face it and faith it all the way through.
It's by no mistake. You tuned into Elevate. Whether you could have thought you came. Look yourself right in the.
When I first moved back to Georgia, I had a thing like this big of these mustard seeds. My wedding favors were mustard seeds.
Oh my
like
goodness.
This is what got me through my journey, and so I just decided that I'm going back to that. You know, so I want to gift you with this mustard seed.
Oh man.
And it is, as we know, a symbol of faith.
Yes.
But I wanted to gift you and at all my guests, and just there'd be random people on the street that I would just give a mustard seed. But anytime you need a reminder, I hope that is able to help you.
Can I just say something? When I turned 27, I did a party and I gifted all of the ladies mustard seeds and keys, and I told them that you are the key. And I lost my mustard seed, and I'm like, oh my God, I need another mustard seed. I've literally have been thinking about this recently. Like, you see how God works?
It's by no mistake.